Okay guys, one thing I left off of the equipment video was the shooting box and all the stuff in it, so I'll add this on the back of the other videos. I'll kind of go over this. This is for my 45 caliber flint gun, so there'll be some things flint related, some things not relative to a percussion gun. I'll go through as if I'm loading the gun and show you the equipment. Okay, first thing is going to be your powder. I'm using Swiss Powder 2F. Right here, these were made by Tresso, these chargers. They're getting very hard to find. I think I got this one from Mike Eater, and it actually had the threads on the top, so it was threaded on both sides. And I took it in my lathe and machined that off. Those are really good chargers if you can get your hands on them. The other thing, the powder measure, this one goes up to 150. If you're shooting a big gun, it takes a big charge, and I know some of the guys are shooting up around 130 and 40 grains. You're going to have to hunt for one of these. They're not, you just can't find them everywhere. So you got to kind of keep your eye peeled for those. You drop your powder. Next thing is your ticking. Of course, most of us are using the green Teflon. That is maybe getting a little hard to find. I know it's getting a lot more expensive. But anyway, that comes from Log Cabin. It's the Minuteman ticking, so that's what this is. Okay, the next thing would be your ball. And I always carry plenty of those. I sort them by 1 grain. Some guys sort them by half. You can do that. These are 451 balls. They weigh 139 grains. So you sort those out, put them in containers separately so you don't mix them up. Now you got to start the ball. There's usually a couple kinds of starters you can go with. You got a plastic one or Delrin. I made this one on the lathe. You can get an aluminum one like this. There's a fella every year, and I can't think of his name, at the York that sells these, and he's usually a friendship too. Either one worked fine. The only thing you want to watch on these, make sure when you set the ball, it goes deep enough that when you cut it off with your knife, you don't scalp the edge of the top of the ball. This one, although I bought it from someone, I had to put it in the lathe and turn it down to get that ball down a little deeper. So that's something you want to watch there. All right, now you've got the ball, you want to cut the ticking off. So some guys just use sharp knives and they carry a stone around with them. I carry these break-off blade utility knives. You get these at Harbor Freight for like $1, okay? What I like about them is it gets dull. I don't have to stop and take time to sharpen anything. I snap it off and keep on going. I also carry an extra box of the blades in case I have to have a new blade. You run it down with a longer starter. This is a homemade affair here. Good solid stainless steel. You got a protector here. You got a cupped jag on the end and a heavy handle here. I like this much better than wood. I'm not real keen on the wood. As some will remember, at a shoot one time, I was loading with a wooden starter and the end pulled off inside the board. It kind of held up the program, and you catch a lot of crap for that. So just get you a good starter. You run it down with the stainless steel ramrod. On your ramrod, I carry 2 ramrods. One of them's for cleaning and one of them's for loading. The cleaning rod will have a flat end on it. The loading rod will be cupped to match up to the ball so that you're not disfiguring that ball any more than you absolutely have to. The reason I don't use the cup jag for cleaning is I found that as you're running your cleaning patches down, that damp cleaning patch is gathering up a lot of crud in the bore, and it kind of deposits it at the bottom when you pull the rod back out. So you end up having to go in with scrapers and monkey around with stuff like that. So I just, match the thing up to what you're doing. Along the same thing with the jags, I mentioned scrapers. You need to carry a scraper and ball puller. Now guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know who the guy was that came up with this, but the man ought to get some kind of Nobel Prize. These are the best ball pullers I have ever used. And they come from Track of the Wolf. I've not seen them anywhere else. But these things are fantastic. I've got one in every shooting box for every caliber. And they'll bail you out every time. So get a good ball puller like that. All right, you've got your ball down. It's a flintlock. You go over on the shooting mat. I always leave my vent pick and my napping hammer and my primer. You don't want to be run back and forth to the bench. Just leave this stuff out there on the mat. If it's a cap lock, leave a tin of caps out there on the mat. I've got several of the good Ted Cash cappers. I just find in a shooting situation, I'm better off with an open tin of caps. I reach in, get one out, put it on the gun, and away we go. You'll need the vent pick for a flintlock and a napping hammer. Carry a good screwdriver. I'm not exactly sure it's a good one, but it is a screwdriver. I carry this around. I put cleaning patches in it. At the beginning of the shoot, I pour some of my cleaner in there, and it always gives me an easy, quick, fast grab of a cleaning patch. You'll want to carry a stapler and some staples. You're going to need that for posting your target. You may run, oh, by the way, here's my hammer. You may run into a situation where you're at a shoot and they have loading tables and maybe they don't have enough room for everybody, or maybe they didn't plan them very well. Carry one of these with you and you can just screw it right into that wooden table and you got a way to keep your gun from falling over. Let's see. These, yes, definitely. You're shooting one of the loudest guns you've ever shot, and you need those. Cleaning patches, carry plenty of those. That's not enough, but I'll load it before I go to the next shoot. Flint, of course, I'm using a flintlock here, so I got my flints. These are all homemade, by the way. I guess probably, different oils for lubing the gun. There's your funnel. I forgot to put that one in there, but definitely use a funnel. You do not need to spill any powder when you're trying to load with this down a bare barrel. Use a funnel. If you drop 5 grains off the side of the bore, that may be a big deal. Okay, the last item I'll go over is your data book. I always carry, every box has got one of these. This is for my 45 caliber log gun. If you look inside, it'll say, I'll put the date that I developed the load. That's always kind of handy to know. And it says 120 grains, a 2F Swiss, 451 round ball, green, 20 thousandths Teflon ticking. Now, if I ever have a brain fart, I can always revert back to this and remember what I'm doing. Now, I'll drop back to these for a minute. Well, actually, I'll drop back to this and these. If you're putting a starter on your muzzle and taking your hand and hitting it to start it down the barrel without a hammer, there's 2 things. First of all, you got a sloppy load. You need a hammer to drive down a proper load. And the other thing is, like a doctor told me about 1,000,000 years ago, every time you slap your hand on a hard surface, you're breaking minute little blood vessels under the skin. That's not really a good thing, especially as you get old. So use a hammer, use a short starter, use a long one. Save your hands. Tighter load means better scores. All right, I think that might cover everything here. The one thing about, you can make your own shooting box. This is actually an original Remington shotgun box I picked up at an auction. The lid was missing, but I made a lid and put the hasp and everything on it. And I always tried to promote the association and my powder companies a little, so have that on there. All right, guys, that might give you some ideas of things you need to do to get yourself all prepped up for a good old chunk gun shoot. Do the best you can. You don't have to get everything at once, but actually if you look around, if you're shooting muzzleloaders, you've already got all this. You just need to kind of organize it a little bit. All right, guys. Appreciate you stopping in. Remember, subscribe and like. Thank you.